Council meeting reconvened to order June 1st, 2021. Would you be with me and pledge allegiance to the flag, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, Christie?
Nelson?
Yes.
Knapp?
Yes.
Allen?
Yes.
Goodchild?
Yes.
Quick?
Yes. Motion to approve the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Welcome everybody in the chamber today. I see Bev's here, and we got the chief here for the fire department, and we got the ambulance director of the ambulance, and we got the guys keeping us safe back there just in the police department. Okay, today we've got several hearings, and the first one is on the fire rescue ordinance, fire department ordinance. At the May 18th, 2020 first meeting, the council set this as a date and time regarding combining the fire rescue department and the ambulance service under one department. The fire rescue department and the ambulance service are each covered by separate chapters in the Lamar's Code of Ordinances. As of July 1st, 2021, only one chapter is really needed. Attached is the proposed new chapter 36. At this time, I'm going to open a hearing and ask if there's any oral or objections or comments, written comments on the proposed changes. I will once again ask if there's any oral or written objections on the proposed changes for the fire rescue department. Hearing none, I'm going to announce that the receiving the objections is closed. The administration recommends the council approve the first reading. Any questions?
Motion approving the first reading of ordinance number 964 to amend chapter 36 fire rescue.
Motion made and seconded to approve the first reading of the ordinance number 964 to amend the chapter 36 fire rescue department. Could we have a roll call on that, Christie?
Quick?
Yes.
Goodchild?
Yes.
Allen?
Yes.
Knapp?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, moving on, motion passed. Moving on to the ambulance service ordinance. At the May 18th, 2021 meeting, the council set this as a date and time regarding combining fire rescue department and the ambulance service under one department. The fire rescue department and the ambulance service are each covered by separate chapters in Lamar's Code of Ordinances. As of July 1st, 2021, only one chapter is needed. Attached is the ordinance to repeal the chapter 37 ambulance service. At this time, I'm going to open the hearing and ask if there's any written or objections or comments to the ambulance service ordinance. Hearing you're seeing none, I'm going to ask once again if there's any oral or written comments regarding the ambulance service, ordinance service. Seeing or hearing none, I'm going to close the ordinance, the hearing at this time, and receive any closed ends.
Motion to approve first reading of ordinance 965 to repeal chapter 37 ambulance service.
Second for the motion.
Motion made and seconded to approve the first reading of the ordinance 965 to repeal chapter 37 ambulance service. Motion made and seconded to that. Do we have a roll call on that, Ben?
Quick?
Yes.
Goodchild?
Yes.
Allen?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Knapp?
Yep.
Motion carried. Okay. Moving on to the general discussion. The way we handle our general discussion, if anybody's got any concerns, comments, anything good to say about the city, we ask them to stand up to the podium, state their name and address. And the council doesn't make any decisions on it today, but they're always certainly willing to listen what they are. Here's CN. Hearing none, we'll move on. Thumbs up award. Mike?
That's it.
Clark?
Pass.
Rex?
Yes, I don't want to miss this one, since I've had the pleasure of, or displeasure of talking about Sioux City Engineering in the past, doing not such a stellar job. It's gonna come up later that we're gonna approve the water, and it sounds like that was a stellar job. Sounds like they did everything good, it's done. Change orders are whopping 6 times, so I would like to thank Sioux City Engineering for their job on doing the water well system.
Thank you for those comments, Rex. They did have done a tremendous job and just followed through and handled the way it should be. Ken?
Nothing, thank you.
Steve?
I've got a couple today. Number one would be the Memorial Day program in the Avenue of Flags on yesterday. Had an opportunity to present my wife's dad's flag in Presidents. And I thank the Legion and our veterans for that program. 56th year, I believe it was, so that was a thumbs up. And then also to Steve Schuster and the opportunity to tour a development before we were presented with anything at our desk here. Just spend 30 minutes with him and take a look at the program. I thought that was good.
It's great. You know, they appreciate that when you go out ahead of time and see for yourselves before the meeting that comes
Yeah.
in this room. So that's a good move, Steve. Appreciate it. I've got one. I want to just recognize all the volunteers in the city of Lamar's that's working so hard, not only on the ice cream days, but the ragtime program to make it successful. So thumbs up to those volunteers that are certainly involved. Moving on to the consent items. Today we have 7 of them. All items listed on the consent agenda will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a request is made prior to the time the council votes on the motion. Excuse me. First one is approval of the May 18th, 2021 regular meeting minutes. Number 2 is a list of the bills, period ending 5/31/21. Number 3 is a renewal liquor license for tacos, the Juanitas, Fairway, Eagles, Hy-Vee, and a new 5-day liquor license for Bachers and Wise One. Number 4 is appointments. Number 5 is the fire rescue personnel salary adjustments for the fiscal year 2022. Number 6 is well. Number 14, law, water main, and sanitary sewer extension, change order. And number 7 is the employee drug and alcohol testing policy in the handbook. And I want to take number 4, in particular myself. I have visited with both of these candidates in regard to renewing of the planning and zoning for another term up with their terms, so they've agreed to it. Any questions on any of these?
Correction on the minutes of the last meeting, I was by phone. I did not abstain on the Cleveland parking lot. I said yes, so I know that
There's a lag
there's a
time.
lag
You
time.
voted no on everything. By the time you get it was funny, because every time you.
I was trying to read your mind, Ken, and I got a little ahead of time.
Yeah. I was under the weather to boot, so it didn't help. But I don't think I've ever abstained.
Project Eagle, we got $597 we paid, so what do we got left on Project Eagle?
How many years?
Yeah, roughly.
I think till 24. So 3 years.
Okay. So, yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I'd like to ask a question or two on this drug and alcohol testing handbook. While I totally support the need for most of this, I struggle with random testing. Probably gonna step on some toes here, but that's all right. We don't require recipients of government handouts to be tested. Yet we require hardworking employees to be tested randomly. That's really a bone of contention for me.
It's federal law that we have to, if they're CDL certified, and they use that in their.
I understand that, I understand why it is, but I just wanna say that it's a bone of contention with me, because I think it's,
So if Clark has got a CDL, does he fall under this as a city employee?
absolutely, test away.
No, I'm just asking a question. Does that mean?
No, he's exempt from our handbook.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Clark.
I was just asking, I just thought of that when I'm reading through it, I'm going, wait a minute here. You know, because we do have people up here that have a CDL, right?
You guys don't fall underneath the handbook.
Even though we're employees.
Try on the first page, lists who's exempt.
Well, I figured it was probably a federal deal. I mean, I seriously did, but much like Kenny and his tobacco stance, I just feel that this is somewhat invasive on hardworking people and there's no probable cause.
It's good to have you talk about it.
You know, so I'm gonna go with it, but I just want to register my complaint about it, that's for sure.
Any other ones? The one Folger talked about. Hearing none, I would recommend the.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made second to
Consent item.
approve the consent items. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to the action items. The first one is the parking ordinances, and change pertaining to placing and parking of dumpsters, campers, and trailers on city streets and parking lots have been proposed. At the May 18, 2021 meeting, the council held a public hearing and approved the first reading. The proposed changes are attached with some possible modifications. Jason, you want to explain those?
Yeah, so most of it is right. Not right, I mean, it's unchanged, except I had 2 alternates in there for both chapters, because that seemed to be, last discussion, that was, at least what I took from it, the only possible change that was recommended. So that underlined portion in both of them, this section shall not apply to construction trailers being used on an active construction site. That was added to both. So I guess it's up to council. You see my recommendation to leave it originally, but it's up to you guys whether or not you want to proceed with the reworded.
Can we, yeah, I like it, I like the changes. We got one more reading, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't change it on the third one, though.
Okay.
To me, that's a little unfair to change it on the last reading. So however you guys approve it.
No, I like what you
today.
got here, other than I'd really like to see, uploaded or actively being utilized as deemed by city employee, or as deemed by city staff. Because if we get an ongoing complaint for 2 months in a row, and somebody says, well, I'm still working on this kitchen, there has to be some legitimate, method of time and what's active.
Clark, we did discuss this at the legal meeting this last week, and my opinion on it was that pertaining to 6906, adding that section is redundant the way it is, because we already have active in the ordinance.
Okay.
As it pertains to 13506, I like the original one because it gives permission of city. So if you need to get permission of the city, then go get permission from the city. So that's why I think Jason went with, let's go with what we had originally.
Well, I had a couple other alternates. This was a little bit longer originally.
Okay.
Because that's just it. We don't want to get in a situation where someone's doing a remodel of a bedroom and there's a trailer out front for 3 months and they say, well, it's an active site. That's what we want to avoid.
So you're talking Clark up in 6906 and the alternate, well, both of them, really, or are you, after it says unloaded or actively being utilized as determined by city staff?
Well, Mike, are you happy with this number 5, the way it is, the alternate?
I am.
You are.
Well, I'm actually, I prefer the non-alternates, to be honest with
Yeah, I knew that, I mean, in our private discussion,
you.
we did
That's my
discuss it.
preference,
But you're okay with this?
Yeah, like I said, in reference to 6906, it's somewhat redundant because it already has active in the ordinance. But for 13506, it allows active construction sites for trailers to stay put. So it's just whatever the council wants to do.
Okay.
Any questions? Hearing none.
Motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 963 to amend chapter 69 parking regulations to chapter 135 street use maintenance with using alternate for number 5.
Second to the motion.
Okay, motion is made and second to
For
approve.
clarity, are we using the alternate for 6906 and 13506? Is that what your motion is?
Yes.
What was that again?
Yes, that's good. Well, it's for both of them.
Using the alternate for number 5 and 6?
No, using number 5 for ordinance, what is it, 136? Where am I? 69.
6906.
6906 and 13506.
6906 and 13506?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, motion made and second to approve the second reading of the ordinance number 963 to amend chapter 69 parking relations and chapter 135 street use and maintenance. Using the alternative of the ordinance in number 5 and 6906 and 13506. Is that right? We have a roll call on that?
Wait,
Christie?
No.
Matt,
Yes.
Donlin,
No.
Nelson,
Yes.
and Deschamps.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, moving on to E2, PlyWood Trail. McClure Engineering has prepared plans, specifications, form a contract, and estimate of cost of the PlyWood Trail Phase 1A project. The project will take place within Merrill to north of the west branch of the Floyd River. A portion of the plans and estimate cost are attached. In the agreements, the PlyWood Trail Foundation and the City of Merrill, the City of Lamar's, is contracting authority and will ensure construction of the project. The project has received IDNR and Army Corps of Engineers permitting and is in the final plans stage with IDOT. The schedules as such: the council set the public hearing on June 1st of 2021. The public hearing will be on June 15th, 2021. And the bid opening will be on July 1st, 2021. And the council will award the contract on July 6th, 2021. Administration recommends the council set the public hearing. The financial side of this project is the project will be funded by the PlyWood Trail Foundation. Okay. Any questions? We've got Greg Langley with,
Brett.
or excuse me, Brett Langley with McClure Engineering is here. So if anybody has any questions, why Brett's been on top of this program from the word go, I believe.
Yeah, Brett Langley with McClure Engineering, 617 Pierce Street, Sioux City, Iowa. I just wanted to take a quick second to thank the mayor and council on behalf of McClure and the PlyWood Trail Committee for your continued support of this project. Many of you here have been dealing with this project for longer than I've been with McClure, actually, and it's been a heck of a process getting a route chosen, funding procured, donations, etc. And none of that happens without the support of yourselves to keep us applying for grant applications and for, very importantly, helping administer this project. So on behalf of, again, McClure and the PlyWood Trail Committee, I wanted to say thank you to all of you for that continued support.
Thank you.
And yes, if you have any questions about the project, I can answer those at this time as well.
Does everybody understand where it is? I didn't include every single page of the plan. I didn't include the profiles.
Looked like the most important ones you had in there.
Included the route
Does everybody understand the route?
just to the north side of the West Branch.
I got a question for you though, Brett.
Absolutely.
I'm a little like Clark on this. We don't get the, we're starting this here and we're moving south.
Mhm.
But we don't get any information to city council. Matt, we don't know that when Hinton meet, we don't know when Merrill meets. You probably do. But it's kind of concerning that as big as Sioux City is, that are they applying for any grant, or are the committee interested in starting from that direction, just strictly because of the power that they have as a city?
So throughout the process of choosing different alignments for the trail, the order of operations, the order of the projects has been discussed frequently. Some of our later discussions have been, we felt it would be best for applying for grants if we start from both of the ends. So the work from Sioux City north would probably be one of the next couple of phases, and then being able to get grants and fund the connections from Sioux City to Hinton, Hinton to Merrill, etc., would be some of the later phases. So yes, that thought has crossed the committee's mind a few different times to start working from both ends. There's no project designed yet to apply for grants from Sioux City to the north. I know internally the